I hit the thing. We're live.
We did it.
I did it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Trying to Be
done?
Better.
Can we just be done?
No, we just started. We can't be done.
All right.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Trying to Be Better with Joel and Steve podcast.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to it. Welcome to the Xmas Holiday Extravaganza Circus brought to you by Walmart and and Boeing
I can't.
and the United States Marine Corps.
Sure.
I don't know. I like making up fake sponsors.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I was going to say that most of the Marines would probably just kick our asses.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah,
100%. Yep.
Probably will deserve it too.
We know some
no disrespect intended, however.
No, we know some ex-Marines that would
That's
probably
correct.
love to either be on the podcast or kick our ass or both.
Either or, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. How you doing, buddy?
It's been a week, dude. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a lot. It's just been a lot.
We're gonna dive right in. It is our
Yeah.
Christmas special. We do have a topic, and we've got a few, irons.
Did we
in the
actually
fire.
name the topic? I don't think we have.
No, we haven't.
Okay.
We haven't named it. We haven't discussed it. But
Okay. Well, by the end of this, maybe we'll have a name.
in the text thread that kind of generates these things,
yeah.
you mentioned something about you had a little bit of a blowout the other day. I don't, full
swear to
disclosure to our listeners, I don't know what happened. This is the first I'm hearing about this situation, so I'm very curious.
That's right. You weren't on Sunday night, were you?
I was not.
Oh, you missed.
Yeah.
Whatever. Never miss a Sunday show, Joel.
I know. I guess not.
Anyway, yeah. So most of you know that I recently started a new position in my job with significantly more responsibility, and it's great. It's really great. I'm very just delighted and honored to have the work that I have. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But this last week, I started to, how do I want to phrase this? The amount of problems that I was expected to solve that I didn't know how to solve was expanding exponentially by the end of the week in fairly short order, like under the span of like 3 working days. Like my plate I just got overwhelmed. I got overwhelmed.
Yeah. Right.
And like Friday afternoon was a lot on top of all this. And like I left work just feeling like, oh my God, what have I, the self-centered fear kicked in.
Yeah.
In a big way. And I was unable to, I did a meeting Friday night, but I was just disconnected because I was just up in my head about all this stuff and how I'm failing. And oh my God, we're going to lose the house.
Oh, wow.
I want to go back to my old job, but I can't because somebody else is doing it now. And it's just, and then
as one of your best friends, I must remind you that a few episodes ago, I asked you about if you experience imposter syndrome. You're like, no, I know how to do this job.
Right. Well, and that's where like that cork came out of the bottom. The genie came up and said, "Fuck you, pal."
I love it.
Right.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So like I didn't sleep Friday night very well at all because I'm waking up in the morning like, oh my God, and I got to deal with, oh my God. And then just laying there thinking about the dozen of things that, and that doesn't happen to me in a long time where I can't sleep because I'm obsessing about some problem I can't fix in that moment,
Yeah.
and that just leads to the other ones. And so I don't sleep. And then so like that, and then that rolls into at 4:00 in the morning thinking, well, today's going to be a lot of fucking fun.
Right.
Right. Because I haven't slept, and we all know how what a ray of sunshine I am. You're
great. When you don't get sleep, you're just a real peach to be
I
around.
know I'm a delight to be around, and I know this, so then I'm berating myself for that.
Yeah.
And then like the very short version of the story is that like people just weren't acting right in my house. They weren't acting right. I wasn't being appreciated. And my kids had the audacity to be kids, and they got all sugared up, and it was just bad. And I was short with Holly, and like things like minor irritants that I normally would have just been like, well, I love her and that's not a big deal and whatever,
right. Yep.
We're like, blah!
Right.
And
everything was, it's like when that happens, especially like if I haven't eaten properly or slept at all or both, it's like the dial is, it's like in Back to the Future when Marty cranks the volume all the way up and then he hits the guitar. It's like it's already turned to 11.
Yeah.
All you need to do is strum that chord and
you're just gone. Yeah.
Yep.
And like all day, like, and I tried, man, I tried to meditate. I tried to take a nap, and I couldn't take a nap because my house, once everybody's awake, there's no sleeping.
Yeah.
So that only served to make me even more better in my head. Like, it's just awful. And then we had the bright idea of like, because we've been talking about going around and driving around to look at the Christmas lights. That'll be fun. We'll play the 3 tenors. We'll look at Christmas lights. It'll be nice. Well, the girls were all hopped up on fudge and sugar and we were playing, trying to like, somehow Spotify wasn't cooperating. And it was playing like Wham's Christmas songs. And and the girls are just spastic. And after 20 minutes, they're bored, which is how long it takes to drive to the lights.
I gave you my heart.
Exactly. And then like, just, I don't know, like pentatonics on speed Christmas.
It
was just awful. So everything was just horrible. And the kids were being spastic. And I'm like, I hate everything. While we're driving around looking at Christmas lights. And I was trying to just keep quiet. That's all I had. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's funny because you text me that.
I didn't even succeed entirely at that.
Yeah.
And so, we just went home and like we dropped ourselves off, and Holly like went and looked at lights. She left.
Nice.
It's like, I'm going to go drive around. I'm like, that's a great idea. You should do that for everybody.
I love this.
Just go, because I'm of no use to anybody, and you should just go enjoy your Christmas spectacular, whatever.
Because when you sent me that stuff, I was envisioning like Steve going full Clark Griswold in the living room with everybody. And what you sent me was the dude from Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
I was like,
oh,
that's even worse. Yeah.
Jacket. Right.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was so bad. And I knew, but see, that's the thing. Like, I knew it was bad. I just also knew that I was not going to be able to get out of it. The only thing that I could do is pull the plug on the day and go to bed. And after Holly came back, and she was in a good mood,
she went and saw Christmas lights without her seething crazy husband.
Exactly. Right. She was having a good time. And, which I like, and like, there would have been a time where like, I would have been resentful of that.
Sure.
Right. But sure. I'm glad, whatever. I'm not in that place where I'm actually going to show that I'm happy for you, because I can't right now, but whatever. Good job. I'm happy for you as much as I can be right now, whatever. Right. So we got the girls to bed, and I just went, I'm going to bed. And she's like, good. And that was it. Like,
you should.
Yeah, totally. Like, just whatever. I think she was kind of bummed, because normally we'd watch Schitt's Creek or something together and have, a half hour of adult time before we collapse for the day.
Yeah.
And that wasn't going to happen. So, and I went to bed and I slept like a log.
Yeah.
And I woke up the next morning and I had to go, I work kind of part-time at my kid's dance studio, cleaning a couple times a month. And I had to go do that. So I just woke up early and I just went and did that. It takes a couple hours.
Yeah.
And then while I was there, I'm like, you know what? I should probably talk to Holly about yesterday on some level.
Yeah.
Because I felt better. And I didn't start feeling better until I made the decision to go into work and to get like kind of ahead of some of this stuff.
Yes. So like you got out ahead. You're like, I need to do a thing. I need to take an action.
I need to take some actions.
I need to do something.
I came home. Yeah. I took a shower. I apologized to Holly for yesterday. I'm like, I'm sorry I blew it out yesterday. Like, it wasn't on you. It wasn't about us. It was just a total shit show. And I'm very sorry that you had to deal with that. She's like, well, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what else are you going to say? And I'm like, I'm going to go to work. She's like, okay. I'm like, I need to get some stuff done. And I did. And just driving back to my workplace, I felt a lot better. And I'm like, wow, this could turn into workaholism.
I love how you took some solid action and then you're like, shit all over it. No, that's not workaholism. That's just like, that's like being of service to get out of your head.
Totally. Yeah. So, and I did, and I felt better. And then I came home, and here's the thing. So everybody that's listening, it's like, wow, this being better shit's really working out great for you guys, huh, Steve? and my response to that is yes.
It is.
Because that mindset that I experienced for whatever 14 15 hours on Saturday, that has lasted for years in the past.
Yeah,
it's lasted for years, and Holly will attest to that, and I'm very sorry.
No, and I'm not speaking, I'm not agreeing because I know that about you. I'm agreeing because I totally identify, because I don't know where in my past I mean, it goes back to when I was a kid that for some reason I would get to this boiling point and I would be the kid that would flip out. And it kind of
Yep.
became a running gag amongst my family members, much to I mean, not out of malice, just out of
Right.
like, oh yeah, Joel gets mad and throws shit. But then once I got then I got into high school and I was like punching holes in the back of my theater wall, like at my
Right.
high school and breaking shit and driving like a maniac and like having these episodes of just like I'm having so much rage right now. I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I never got violent, I guess. I mean, punching holes in
Well,
walls. Like,
you're not
it's
exactly
scary.
like a fighting physique.
I'm not.
You
No, it's
would
not like
probably
a.
lose a lot of those fights.
Yeah, I'm not gonna take it out on somebody. And so
Right.
I learned. I think it. Teenage angst and depression, and then some early onset. Budding alcoholism.
Right.
I learned to take all that and put it in.
Yeah.
Put it right in
Right.
here.
That's right.
And
Where
like
it's safe.
but it's not safe
No, it's
because
not.
it's
It's
totally
a time
internalized.
bomb.
It turns into like self-hatred, self-loathing, or just
Mhm.
seething or resentment or all
Mhm.
of that shit. And it's like it's like a maelstrom in my mind.
It's
I
the
can't get out.
worst.
Yeah, it's the
Like
worst.
it's the worst. And like that's what I like because I was kind of starting to come to or whatever on Sunday because that's really what it was akin to. Like while I'm up
Mhm.
mopping dance floors, I'm like,
Mhm.
uh, that was really awful.
Mhm.
That was not, I mean, awful for the people that I was around, but just
Yeah.
it literally felt awful
Mhm.
internally. It was painful.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, and I don't ask for sympathy for that. Perhaps a little bit of empathy, but like, I think that's the thing that people that don't have to deal with that don't understand about like addiction.
Yeah.
It's like people that you see it happen time and time again where like somebody kind of starts to get sober and they start to get their life together and people and like things are really kind of starting to come together for them and you think
Mhm.
god they're gonna make it and then one day they just go shit house and you never see them
Mhm.
again
Mhm.
and
I can
that's like I get that.
Yeah, I can recall a shithouse moment early on in my recovery where, I was a stressed out college student. I was back back in shows, so it was like I was rehearsing till 11 o'clock at night, and I was doing a improv group, and there was that going on, and I was trying to pass this Spanish class, and I was pissed that I had to take it. And I remember, like, I barely had any money, and I was broke as fuck, and
That's the worst.
I was driving to meet because I hired a Spanish tutor because I had to pass the Spanish class, but I
Mm-hmm.
had like a $50 check, and it was like, I didn't know if I was going to pay rent at the end of the month or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like just freaking out because I'm late to my tutor. And if I'm not there within 5 minutes, she takes off. And I'm
Bails.
like speeding through like a maniac down through UNL's campus. And like
Yeah.
I could have hit somebody. I could have swerved into a frat house. Like it could have been a news story. It could have been really, really bad.
Right.
And I remember just like, well, if I got sober to live better, I'm certainly missing something right now.
Right. Yeah, I've
And
had
it's
lots of those moments.
but the thing that saves, I think, those people that you said where we don't see them again
Mm-hmm.
is that folks that are new to that world
Yeah.
haven't taken the time to forge relationships with people like you that I
Right.
could call and say, hey, I feel like running
I'm like
away.
losing my mind right now and I don't know why.
Right. I feel like, driving off a cliff right now. I feel
Mhm.
like blowing
Or
up a
into a
build.
bridge abutment or
You're right.
anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, man, I mean, but I don't think that alcoholics and drug addicts have a market cornered on rage. I just think that
No.
we it gets to that point. Like, I remember like going back to like what we said when I was like a kid. I remember my parents took me to like kitty anger management. I went to like this anger class.
Wow.
They got me a book that was called Sometimes It's Okay to Be Angry. That was kind of like a way to try to teach a kid what is acceptable anger, what is not acceptable, because they could see
Sure.
clearly I
Sure.
had no tools with that,
This
and
is this has gone sideways.
this something's up with
Yeah.
Joel. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
So that like
I'm glad I'm glad you didn't drive into abutment.
well no and see that's the thing is like I think thanks to you know having done some of the work and having a practice and having people and having some tools um like my tool Saturday was to um avoid and attempt to isolate and try to get some just a 20-minute power nap. But
Yeah.
that was all Steve's tools, you know,
Right. Well,
right?
and that's all outside stuff, kind of like take a
Yeah,
nap.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I, so it's just one of those things. Like I knew it sort of,
Mm-hmm.
but it was, I'm going to say the word powerless, but I know that's not entirely correct. At some point it was a decision, but I just, that maelstrom in the head
Mm-hmm.
wasn't letting me break through to solutions.
Well, I think that I don't know. I mean, I'd kind of counter that. Like, yeah, we do have a certain amount of agency over our actions, and then as that results in our thoughts, right? Like,
Yeah.
but I do think at some level when we get when we don't have that, like the acronym HALT,
Yeah. Yeah.
hungry, angry, lonely,
Yeah.
tired,
Yeah.
like that's the litmus test, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if some of that shit's out of whack, it is powerlessness. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I can't, once the train, I fill the coal in the think train in my
Yeah.
brain enough, it's going to go.
Yeah.
And there's
Well,
not
I
much I
was
can do.
definitely tired and I was definitely angry and I was lonely.
Ah,
Right.
yes, yes.
And, and so I compensated for all that by just eating a lot. So I had the H covered.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
but anyway, so
Hmm.
like, that's what was thinking about kind of on Sunday and then
Mm-hmm.
Monday as I kind of got back to work and like I'm sure like I handled some shit on Sunday and then Monday morning I went in and like three or four of the things that I was completely geeked out, I
Mm-hmm.
just dug in and like was able to resolve them pretty quickly. One of
Mm.
them I got totally lucky on, whatever, it's still a win.
Yeah,
But I'm like, oh, that's not that big of a deal. And knocked it off. And it was like
yeah,
when I was thinking in the solution, it was fine.
right.
And because that's most of the time I'm able, when I'm presented with a problem like this, I'm able to say, well, this will be a learning experience. Here we go.
Yeah,
When we
right.
get through this, I'll know how to do it. And it won't be that big of a deal and blah, blah, blah. But it was just enough of them kind of dumped on me that I got overwhelmed. And then I started thinking, I don't know how to do any of this.
That is, Steve, that is like, that's the perfect storm for my panic. Like when I have, and it's been a minute, but when I have a panic attack, it's not it's not the elements that are coming together to create the storm. It's my judgment that there is a storm.
Right.
Like it's weird because it's like when I start observing, like, oh, it's happening, oh, something's wrong with me, that's when I know I'm stuck and I'm screwed. And that's when I really need to get honest and say, I'm really stuck, or I'm at a boiling point. It's when
Yeah.
when I start looking at the truth of what's going on, and in that moment judge it and judge myself. It's
Yeah.
like there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying, oh yeah, I'm pretty tired, and I haven't eaten very well, and I haven't really connected to people, and I haven't prayed in a couple of days or meditated for a minute or whatever. And it
Right.
just like, it's like, oh, those factors are there that should not should but that usually could dissolve
Mm-hmm.
the storm.
Sure.
But when I see the storm coming together and I start saying, oh, something's wrong with me, I'm a piece of shit, why do I do that? And that's when it's like, that's when it's
all
got
over.
me. That's cool that it worked out at work, though, that it wasn't, I mean, isn't that always the case, though? It's like our
I
we
swear to
paint
God,
it
man,
into,
as long and Holly, this I get credit to Holly. Like as long as I show up and am helpful and polite,
mm,
everybody thinks I'm great.
yeah.
You know, maybe
Yeah.
not everybody, but most people.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to tell people no. I
But
try to do that in a way that is helpful. As best I can. Whatever.
most people don't know what they're doing either.
That's also true. I
You know
know
what I
that
mean?
too. Yeah, most people
I
are
mean,
just winging it, doing the best they can.
there's skill sets and training and
Yes.
experience, but
Yes.
like nobody knows the problems that arise day to day.
I'll tell you, man. You may have noticed there's this whole global pandemic thing going on.
Wait, what?
Yeah, and there's this, vaccines are coming, right? So I work
Right?
at a healthcare facility,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm watching people like the people responsible for getting people vaccinated once we get them, and getting the vaccines, and making sure the vaccines are properly frozen, refrigerated, and making sure that they're tracked, and there's a chain of custody and the reporting involved in it, and just managing the logistics. Like we were supposed to have I watched, like we were supposed to watch we were supposed to get vaccines last Thursday, and we are going to start that process Friday. That didn't happen. But so found out we are going to get them in yesterday and start vaccinating today. But there was also a blood drive scheduled at our facility for today.
Wow.
So the room they were going to vaccinate everybody in was actually going to have the Red Cross in it. So they had to come up with a completely alternate location inside the facility, which they threw together.
Yeah.
Right. And it worked and it was fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, that's the kind of, on top of just running the business. Wow. This is all extra, you know?
Yeah.
And
they figured it out.
They did. And like, that's the kind of stuff, like being in that environment and watching people work towards a common goal, and to be creative in doing that and saying, well, plan A is screwed.
Yep.
What's plan B look like?
Yep.
You know, and start pulling resource to get together and to work harmoniously towards a positive solution and a functional solution is really cool.
Yeah, dude.
And so that was inspiring to watch, and just having that kind of energy around. It's like, we don't have time for, what's your problem again?
Yeah. Well, it snaps things into focus, right? Like, yeah.
And so then, and I'm kind of dominating the conversation here,
but fine.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, dude.
I used to work with a guy, his name's Seth. Shout out to Seth. In fact, I'm just going to dedicate this entire podcast to Seth and his family.
Legit. Hey,
he's
Seth.
A listener. So,
we love you, Seth.
Yes. He, my friend, former coworker who we stayed in touch with. We go to, our kids are, we all go to the same school. We see each other a lot, and so we talk outside. We talk still, which is pretty cool. We haven't worked together for a few years. But we remain friends. And I talked to him Saturday afternoon, actually, while I was in the middle of my, whatever that was, my blowout. But I was able to pull it together to have a conversation with my friend Seth, who had his own stuff going on, and it was fine. I didn't notice anything weird. But that night he started having trouble thinking, right?
Yeah.
And it really, things kind of got weird. And so his wife thought, God, he's having a stroke, which is kind of what it was presenting like not being able to finish sentences and being erratic. And and so they ran him to the hospital, and the short version of the story is that he has brain cancer.
Right.
And he had a tumor in his brain that in the span of 2 weeks grew to be almost 4 inches in diameter. So it was aggressive. It was fast moving, and they operated on him yesterday, and they removed the tumor. And he's alive, and he's talking.
Yeah.
And I Zoomed with him and his wife this morning for 20 minutes or so. So thank God for technology, because of COVID,
that's super cool.
Visit him and all that.
Yeah.
So I was able to talk to my friend, who is, I'm like, he's lucid, and he's mostly what he is he's frustrated because he wants to go back to work. Well, it's Christmas time, and it's a whole other story, but I mean, the place where he worked, it's Christmas it's a busy time, to say the least.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a whole other podcast, but so we're looking at talk about putting things into perspective.
Yeah.
Right. Because that party, they did what amounts to triage, the immediate crisis is averted, but the problem is still there.
Yeah.
And so his family gets to now navigate brain cancer from their primary wage earner at Christmas.
Right.
With 4 kids.
Yep.
And so that is a very, very solemn, grave, thing that happened. And a guy that I work with currently, who I actually worked with for a few years now, when I first met this guy, his wife was going through cancer treatments, right? And for a couple of years, and it was long and it was hard. And I can't imagine the stress that he was under during this time, trying to manage work and a wife going through cancer treatments and all the shit that goes along with that, paperwork and FMLA and because our American healthcare system, we're number one.
Right.
So He's like, I said, my friend, I have this, if I'm a little distracted, because my friend had this diagnosis and this is going on. And my coworker said, I've been through that. I said, I know you have, I know you have perspective on this, is why I'm bringing it up, really. And he said, the thing that I think I've been trying to think of words to say to you about this, and this is what I've come up with. He said, it just sucks. It just sucks.
And I think that's, well, let me first say, all of that, Steve, is valid. All of your feelings and all your experiences on that, just as your friend. I know that people are listening to this, but I would say this to you on the phone, privately, is all that shit is valid, and that's tough, and that's really hard to go through. I love you.
Love you too.
And you can honor all of that shit, right? And you are a man who is navigating a few days of a circus with a lot of grace and a lot of heart. And a lot of service. So you're still an example to me as your buddy. Wow, you called him and you were, you Zoomed with him and you're talking about it and you're walking through it. I mean, this is not about, his brain cancer is not about you.
Nope.
And you know that.
Nope.
But you're navigating that shit really, and I appreciate that.
Well,
I love you.
Thank you. And I love you too. And I love my friend Seth and his family.
Yeah.
And it's that's why I said to my coworker today, I'm like, adulting just blows.
Really
this is the e-ticket ride at Disneyland. It's the scary one, you know?
Yep.
And it's the hard one. And it's the one you can't, there's really, well, when I was Zooming, when we finally got on Zoom this morning, I just looked at Seth and said, man, you got a lot of shit sticking out of you. And he said, I know.
Yeah.
So, okay, good. We can still joke,
Yes.
If I can offer one service, it's it's deflecting seriousness through humor.
Yeah. Which has its own, which is healing.
Sure.
Right.
Laughter's the best medicine.
Right. And you didn't show up to that Zoom call super scared. Well, you weren't scared. You weren't scared to talk to him. You showed up for him and you were yourself.
And that's something that I kind of noticed. It's that maybe I've matured a little bit, or maybe it's just something that comes with being almost 50 years old. And this is what's going to start happening in my life.
Yep.
I didn't see a sick person. I saw my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really that's what it was. And I had to kind of on the fly process that,
Right. And to your point, dude, you're absolutely right. Life is in session, right? We talked about last week, this was going to be some, Christmas extravaganza and we were going to be goofy. And it's well, no, life had different fucking terms.
Totally.
And I'd rather have this conversation with you than try to just blow by this.
Right.
Because life is in session. Brain cancer can happen a week before Christmas.
Totally.
Your life can get pulled out from underneath you at any moment. And I guess, what I've come to realize as an adult is that the joys can be more deep, and because I can accept the uncertainty and the finite nature of all things.
Right.
I really can. It's I don't know. I don't know if that even clicks. I'm just thinking that, anything can happen at any point. And all we're really asked to do is to be there for that thing, to be present.
Show up, be present,
to show up, to be present for ourselves, for each other, for the world. And we can't predict that shit's going to go crazy at work, and we can't predict whether or not we're going to be able to know what to do. You know what I mean? The same thing, it's I always I had to get ready and kind of write some things down for this project that's going to happen in the spring. And I'm I don't even know how campus is going to look in the spring. I don't know if we're going to even be, I don't know. You're asking me to plan this thing. It's it's silly to, yes.
Why don't you just come up with 12 plans?
That's kind of what you have to do.
Yeah.
Or set out a plan knowing full well that it's not going to go perfect,
Right.
and be really interested and curious as to how it's going to go.
That's the key, isn't it? Is
It
being
really is
interested and curious instead of feeling
Yes.
like oppressed and put
because
upon.
well, that's the thing. I recently finished Rob Bell's latest book, Everything is Spiritual. He's the only writer, podcaster, person that keeps me anywhere remotely connected to Christianity anymore. And that whole book was talking about just like the curiosity and the interest in how life unfolds, because it's on a molecular level, on a personality level, on a universal spiritual level. All things really want to do is connect and sort of dance with each other and figure out the wonder, from an atom and a molecule all the way to you and I, to, the whole cosmos. All it really wants to do is figure out how to get along with one another. Figure out how to connect. That's the thread that holds it all together. And so, but it's always unpredictable. Like, electrons show up in one place and show up in another place, and we don't know where they go or how they get there. And the only time they actually show a pattern is when they're observed, and it's never going to be the same. And so we don't know how things are going to turn out. And I think while we're here, and one of the cool things about conversations with you always has been being curious about it and being interested in how it unfolds. I mean, but the other thing too, man, just like being willing to suit up and show up for your friend like that, or for anyone like that, and not feel like you need to fix it, not feel like it's going to harm you.
Like, that's the thing, right? I mean, that's the thing, is like, I'm acutely aware that I'm pretty powerless in this situation.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like, I'll show up and I'll do what I can, but like, I'm not going to be in their house day in and day out. And there's a part of me that like wants to rush over and like move in and like just help.
Right.
And that's, I can't do that.
Right. No,
I can't do that. So we do what we can. And a lot of that is just like texting to say, hey, we're thinking about you. You are in our thoughts. We've got food coming,
Yeah.
And we do live a few blocks away. Like, if they absolutely need something, like, and I'm home, I can go over there within certain constraints, because COVID, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But like, we can make things happen.
Well, and that's the cool thing too. Like, I don't know. The cool thing about having friends with intention is that I don't have emotions invested in your life per se. And so I see the connection here, the like with your work situation, with your family situation, with this situation. It's like we suit up and show up, and then we find out we can't fix it all. And we have to just honor whatever's there and do the best we can with what's in front of us. Right. Like, and it will not work out the way we want it to. It will work out, and it will be okay. As long as we are present for it, it will be okay if we're present for that moment. That moment can be okay. And then I have to be there the next moment and the next moment. And I can be okay in every moment to come. And
it really is that moment to moment thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it really truly is. Like, no matter what is happening, it's still this moment.
It never is not. The only thing that isn't this moment is my perception of what's come before, which is always filtered through my brain, or my fear or hope for what's coming in the future, which has nothing to do with anything. You can fill a bucket with fear, and you can fill a bucket with hope, and what do you have? Two empty buckets. Nothing.
Just blew my mind.
So that right now is the only thing full of everything. Right, get right in between there.
Right in between there.
Yeah, right in between those two hand claps. That's where everybody needs to be. If you're having a panic attack, worrying about the rest of your life, clap your hands together 2 times really quickly and try to be in that between.
There's no place like home.
Exactly, dude. There's no place like home. There's no place like right here, because that's all there is. And that's that's all there is.
There's no place like Ohm.
Oh, shit, Steve.
Sorry.
No, it's good. Well, Seth, if we have an audience of 1 and it's you, I can't think of a better audience right now, man. I hope we're rooting for you.
Totally.
Yeah. And I think your wife shared on Facebook a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
I will put that in the Instagram account. I'll put the
Oh, cool.
GoFundMe
That'd
out
be
there.
great.
Yep. And link in bio.
Great.
We'll put it out there.
Yep. So, Christmas. that's
Yeah.
that's a thing that's coming up really quickly.
Yeah.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, Joel.
You know what? It's not bad.
It's not bad. I agree.
Normally, dude, it is not my favorite. I have owned this in the last few years, and I think I've expressed it not too different from how you did with the family and the Christmas lights before. And I've been, and like last year, I was really clear with Kirsten. I was like, you know what? And it was, obviously before we knew there was going to be a global pandemic.
Right.
And I remember saying like, hey, can we skip all that next year? Like, can we just not, like, can we someday, I just want to drop a shitload of money and go to, Hawaii for Christmas. Like, I don't want to, not that I don't want to see my family, and then not that I don't love them. I just like, I'm like, this is, and Kirsten and I were talking about this earlier today. Like, we really feel, I think as human beings, this is a time to really be quiet and still. The days aren't as long. They're the shortest days. The nights are, like, it's quiet, it's still, it's cold. We just kind of want to go inward spiritually and physically. And yet the United States and the capitalist machine wants us to go party, buy, eat, like see everything, do everything, buy all the things, go crazy. And it's like, no wonder I get stressed, because it's like, there's like this opposing force of like, I just want to be still and quiet. And it seems like the world around us wants to, it's so, I guess what I'm saying, besides the fact that there's a lot of gnarly shit going on and people are getting sick and hospitals are freaking out, all of those things are very real. But there's a part of me that's like, I'm kind of grateful that this is a slower, more
me too
internal, like normally I wouldn't be able to do this in this basement, because we'd have family staying with us. We'd have a Christmas concert every night of the week to go to. I'd have to juggle a couple of different families, and who are we going to see when, and what are we going to buy them? And I don't know. I just don't feel like that energy as much this year, obviously. And I think it's kind of nice.
Me too. I got a mad, huge shout out props to Holly, who takes care of the heavy lifting logistics of Christmas.
Right.
Our household, which is, I mean, the kids and taking care of presents for, family. And we don't do a lot, but that all needs to get done. It all needs to get wrapped. It all needs to get bought. It all needs to get thought about. And she does all of that.
Dude, that's so funny.
My job is just to keep my anxiety under control. That's pretty much.
I saw a meme today that was right up that alley, and it said, it was like from a woman's perspective, and she was like, or from a, the wife's perspective, she was like, the gift I got my husband this year, it's the ability to show up on Christmas morning and not have to worry about a thing. Like that. Like that's the gift. Not that it's her job, but like I got him the gift of like, just all you have to do, dude, is just show up. Like I did everything,
that's a wonderful gift. I love that gift.
I'm sure you do.
I do. I like the ones where it's like the dad's just surprised to see what the kids are opening up as the kids are.
Right.
That's really cool that you got that thing that I totally knew that you were getting.
Is that kind of the dynamic?
She shows me. I kind of know what's going on a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
do you guys still do Santa?
Santa's going to show up this year. Yep. I mean, the girls are old enough now; they kind of have an idea that it's
right.
But like, I'll tell you, my older daughter, she, they had submitted their list to Santa way early,
Yeah.
But then we started talking about electronic keyboards because they're taking piano lessons.
Yeah.
And I was trying to start, and she's like, "Oh my God, I really want that. Do you think it's too late to like write Santa?" And I'm like, "No, totally right." So, dude, she wrote this really nice letter. She even like made glitter. She decorated it with glitter and stuff.
Oh, wow.
For Santa. And what she didn't know is that we'd really already bought it. But
nice.
So Santa's going to show up with a pretty nice keyboard.
Very good.
This morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you do for that?
Yeah. The reason I totally snuck that Santa question in, because I put a question up on the Instagram feed.
Oh yeah.
Like, what are some Christmas questions you might
Our
have?
rabid fan base chimed
Yeah,
in.
one of our top fans, her name is Abby. Hi, Abby. Thank you so much for submitting this question. Was where is it? Do you guys believe? Did you believe in Santa Claus as a kid? And
For
like
a while, yeah.
I did and I didn't. And it's a weird question because the house I grew up in Columbus didn't have a chimney. And so every message you had was that Santa comes down the chimney.
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, how the fuck is he going to get in our house? We don't have a chimney, guys.
Oh, of course you said that.
And they're like, well, he'll come through the front door. I'm like, well, I hear the front door.
Right.
And I know we locked
coming through the front door.
He comes down the chimney. So something's amiss.
Right.
Like that was.
Oh, God.
And then I got some early like bullshit evangelical Christian stuff that Santa was, so it's like Jesus is if Jesus is the reason for the season, why are we worshiping Santa Claus?
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? I got really, skeptical real early.
Right.
So I think I had some magic about it, but
you skeptical of an institution?
Especially one that is based on magic.
Right.
And magical thinking.
I'll tell you, quick shout out to the movie Klaus. It's an animated movie. It's on Netflix. It came out last year. Klaus is delightful.
I feel like I've seen something about this.
It's great. Francesca came home. My younger daughter came home. I don't know. She was talking about it and she'd seen it in school. And so it's kind of like, yeah, it's Saturday, whatever, we'll watch it. And I didn't have high expectations, but it's fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Klaus.
I'll watch Klaus.
If you're needing a little holiday cheer and you just can't watch A Christmas Story again, I don't know why you wouldn't be able to, but I'm just saying for something a little different.
Yep.
No.
I need to do well, I hold fast to the belief that The Nightmare Before Christmas is a Christmas movie, not a Halloween movie. So I got to watch that. And then Die Hard. I need to watch Die Hard.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yep.
I haven't watched that movie in a long time. I should probably do that just for the hell of it.
So
Nakatomi Plaza, right?
Right.
Sure.
What do you want to let go of in 2020, my friend?
What? I was not expecting this question. I'm not prepared for this. What do I want to let go of?
Yeah, but well, because here's the deal.
Oh,
like we could talk about Christmas and all that shit, but like yesterday was the winter solstice. Kirsten and I drove out of town and looked at the planet conjunction where Saturn
we saw that from our driveway. It was cool.
Amazing.
And
while we were out there, a huge owl swooped right over our heads.
Oh.
And we were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then we remembered last year on the winter solstice, we were at Holmes Lake and we saw an owl do the same thing at Holmes Lake.
Whoa.
So, we kind of get a little weird and pagan, and we're kind of, talking about like, solstice, like, what do you want to let go of? And what are some of your intentions for 2021? I don't know. I just thought I'd throw out there a total curveball.
Intentions for 2021. Our friend Matt up in Omaha used to ask me this, and I always struggle with it. Maybe that's something I should be more intentional about my intentions. I really I've always had a hard time setting goals.
Yeah. Well, here's what I learned about intentions. It's not necessarily about a wish list or goals or like I want to lose X amount of pounds or I want to work this much harder. It's like, what do you hope to cultivate within you? What are some things that you want to bring to your awareness? Like it can be spiritual woo-woo if you want it to be.
No, I just got it. Now I'm grokking on spiritual woo-woo. Like, what does that look like?
I'll say, and this is kind of off the cuff. I kind of want to continue to not, I was telling, who was I telling about? Oh, my buddy Dave from UNL was in town today, and he and I went on a walk around campus, and I was telling, he teaches theater in Chicago at a university there, and I teach theater here, and we were just talking about so how was this last semester and a half for you? And one of the things that I brought up was there were some things when you have to teach kind of under the gun of a global pandemic, you stop worrying about some things that don't matter anymore. And I want to continue to not worry about those things. And what at the top of that list is what people think. Of course I don't want to hurt anybody or I don't want to be a jerk, but I also don't, I'm going to really work harder to shed that worrying about what other people are, my perception of what they're saying about what I'm doing or not doing, or how I'm doing it, or if my, art is cool. I know that's a really reductive way of saying that, but like, there's been a lot of like really healthy boundaries with me in this. Like, I don't give a fuck. It's kind of nice to not give too much of a shit about. I've spent a lot last couple of years really worried about what other people are thinking and saying and
Sure.
and that's just, man.
I got to tell you, man, maybe it has to do with the fact that I'm staring 50 in the face, but I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah. Maybe that's part of it.
I
Yeah.
just don't. Like, whatever. I show up, I do the best I can. I think I'm basically a good person. I'm good with my higher power, like I like whatever. And that's been really freeing. It's been really fantastic, actually. Like
have you thought an intention though?
I have the so like seriously, like if I want to get all woo-woo about it,
yeah, please.
It's not even woo. It's like, I mean it really seriously, actually. It's to cultivate, to continue to work on my meditation practice, and not with any specific goal other than that, that whole thing of actual like inner peace and serenity, not for selfish ends, but for to put that into the universe for everybody's benefit.
Yes.
Like that's really kind of the goal at this point. And that can be as local as my relationship with my wife, with my children, and then it goes out from there. And because if I'm that episode on Saturday really illuminated, it was kind of like a relapse almost, to know like what, well, it was, I mean, emotionally, it was a full-blown relapse.
Relapse on defects.
Yeah. And so like to kind of have that spotlighted and to know that like how much that doesn't happen anymore, and to know that like there is a better way, and to just keep going in that direction. Like that's the intention.
It's kind of like
to go towards the light.
Well, that's the thing, Steve. Like I don't know, my experience with meditation too is like, or any sort of spiritual practice, I bet other people would back this up. When you really start investing in that, it's almost like there's like a detox. Like there's that shit comes out, and it's like you kind of got to feel it to heal it, sort of deal. Like I was deepening my practice, I don't know, a year and a half ago, and Kirsten and I were going through some stuff, and like I was putting together something. No, I was trying to start the lawnmower, and the lawnmower I had wouldn't start.
Oh, that's the worst.
And I like shoved it down the hill in my backyard and took my prescription sunglasses off and snapped them in half.
Oh,
and it was like, I'm sitting here meditating every day. I don't think I'm supposed to act like this. And it's like, well, no, it's all that stuff's coming to the surface. Doesn't mean you're abusive. It just means that like, you got to let that stuff out. I don't know. I just think that that's a really great intention, Steve. I think that's awesome because like, in the more, in the less secular mindfulness meditation, but in the more Buddhist practice, what I know of that is there's this idea of at the end of every meditation session, you dedicate that meditation to the benefit of you and all beings.
Yes.
So that sort of stamps it. Like that makes it, and without that, without that, it is self-serving. If I'm not dedicating my meditation to the benefit of all things, then it's pointless.
Right. And that's really been something that it was just like this last month has really come into the forefront of my consciousness. It's like, this is for everybody and everything, because we're all one.
Yeah. Yep.
We're all one.
We're all, yep. We're all interdependent. Like, we're all affecting each other, whether we like it or not,
And that's really, just to have that awareness has been really mind blowing. And I've known people that have talked about that for years, 25 years, and I've been like, whatever.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't apply to me right now, or I don't want to hear that right now.
That doesn't feel relevant.
Yeah. They're all connected, but me, I'm going to do my own thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's not working very well, but I'm going to keep hammering away at it.
I'm going to do it so well. I'm going to separate myself from all you fuckers and rule you,
or envy you,
or be the worst. I'll be the seething
the best,
troll under the
of
bridge.
all the worst.
Yes.
And on that note, I'm segueing into the musical part of our Christmas spectacular.
Whoa, what?
We can't have a Christmas spectacular without singing.
Oh no.
I was talking, well, it's probably an appropriate response. But I'm really looking forward to Rob Bell's Christmas show so we can hear Joseph singing.
Oh yeah.
Because they're wonderful and angelic. And that show is always so fun.
Yes.
This will not be angelic, but there's a Frank Zappa record called Joe's Garage. And the premise,
I admitted today that I'm not really into Frank Zappa,
which is fine. You can be wrong,
but I'll get into it. I'll figure it out.
Whatever does it? You got to get into it before you can get out of it. And you got to get out of it before you can get into it.
Right on.
But the premise of Joe's Garage, for those of you unfamiliar, is that music. One of the many premises is that music becomes illegal.
Okay.
Music's illegal for a variety of reasons. Like it was, this album was made in 79, and in 79, Iran, was it the Shah? I don't know the geopolitical policy, whatever. Music was illegal in Iran. So this was kind of reacting to that. But anyway, Joe, he slowly gets lured into a life of sleazery in rock and roll. Right. And he goes to jail, and then he gets released, and, this album just it skewers like the recording industry, and Scientology is in there.
Yes.
Yes. L. Ron.
We got to talk about cults at some point.
Yes. L. Ron Hoover in the First Church of Appliantology.
I love it.
It's a thing. But anyway, so towards the end of the record, Joe has been released from prison, and music's illegal, and it's a really bleak scene. People are dancing to loading zone announcements because there's no music. The white zone is for loading and unloading only. Right. So that's what people have to dance to.
Yeah.
And so he's talking about, he's been in jail with a bunch of music industry executives who take turns snorting detergent and pluking each other. There's credit given in the album liner notes for the person that came up with the term pluke. But so anyway, Joe is out from prison, and he's insane. But he has some clarity. It's kind of like a moment of clarity, sort of, where but he sings this song. It's called Outside Now. And I'm going to sing an a cappella version of Outside Now by Frank Zappa.
Take it away.
Okay, ready? These executives have pluked the fuck out of me, and there's still a long time to go before I paid my debt to society. And all I ever really wanted to do was play the guitar and bend the string like ring tune tinu ninu ni. I've got it. I'll be sullen and withdrawn. I'll dwindle off into the twilight realm of my own secret thoughts. I'll lay here till dawn on my back in a semi-catatonic state and dream of guitar notes that would irritate an executive kind of guy. Well, I guess that one did the trick. If they only could have heard it, half a dozen of them would have strangled while they was sucking on each other's dicks. Yeah, but that was only a bunch of imaginary notes I played. Just a little extra something to keep me going from day to day. And that's okay. I'm getting out of here pretty soon. And then I won't have to live in this ugly fucking room. I can't wait to see what it's like on the outside now. I can't wait to see what it's like on the outside now. I can't wait to see what it's like on the outside now. I can't wait to see what it's like on the outside now. That goes out to everyone. They can't wait to see what it's like on the outside now.
I can't wait to see what it's like on the outside now.
Right?
Dude. Well, thank you, Steve, for that beautiful song.
Thank you.
I think we did it.
I think so too.
Happy
solstice.
Happy solstice. Happy Krampus. Happy Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy everything. Happy nothing.
Sure.
Eat some cookies. Get on an awkward Zoom with your family.
That's gonna happen.
Watch some trash TV.
Yeah.
If you get anybody out there that's got to work through this shit with the general public, we send our love.
Totally.
I get to hole up in my basement with my PS4. May everybody have time within. May everybody be at peace. May everybody realize that we're all connected and that we're all one thing and that everything is allowed, and be of service to your fellow neighbors.
Totally.
Yeah, man.
What he said.
Love you guys.
Yep. Have a good holiday.
Hey, wait. I think we did get an email.
We have a winner. Joel, we have a winner.
And I hope that this person is listening all the way to the end of this, because Eduardo, my buddy Eduardo Wusan, he sent us an email that Steve thought was a spam email.
Well, I wasn't exactly sure, but I'm like, this is weird.
No, Eduardo definitely gave us this great email. He sent us like a Twin Peaks clip and signed it as somebody else. And he sent us that fuck everything.
Meditation.
Yeah. That honest meditation. Like, just let it all the fuck go. So Eduardo, you win the mug or t-shirt whenever we make it. We love you.
Right. Yeah.
We should have you on, really.
That'd be great.
So anyway,
and about that sponsorship deal, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Well, Steve, I love you.
Love
Merry
you too.
Christmas.
All right.
I hope you and your wife and the kids have an amazing time.
Same to you.
And thanks, man.
Yeah.
And we'll see you
sometime.
Maybe should we do we got to do one like before we should have a New Year's Eve.
Totally.
New Year's Eve one.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll talk more about that attention thing. All right.
Yeah. See how that's working out.
All right. Later.
Bye.